The lights glittered inside the grand ballroom like scattered diamonds, chandeliers shimmering over marble floors polished to perfection. Guests in designer gowns and tailored suits swirled around with champagne glasses, celebrating what was supposed to be the happiest night of her life. It was their 5th wedding anniversary. But as Amelia, glowing in a pale gold gown that hugged her pregnant figure, smiled politely at well-wishers, a chill ran through her chest that no warmth in the room could shake. Deep inside, she knew something wasn't right. The man she loved, the billionaire everyone envied, her husband Ethan, was nowhere to be seen by her side. And when she finally found him, hidden in the shadows of the balcony, lips pressed against another woman's mouth, her entire world shattered in a single, merciless heartbeat. The room kept spinning around her, laughter and music fading into cruel silence. Her hands instinctively clutched her growing belly, as if shielding her unborn child from the knife that had just torn through her soul. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and justice for those who were wronged, then please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Royal Stories, because tonight's story will shake your heart and remind you of the true power of love, betrayal, and redemption. Amelia stood frozen, her eyes locked on the scene before her. Ethan, with his perfect tuxedo and flawless smile, the same man who had promised her forever, was tangled in the arms of a woman half hidden by shadows, laughing like a boy caught in a reckless game. For a moment, Amelia thought it was a bad dream, a cruel illusion created by exhaustion and stress. But the lipstick smudged on his collar, the smug look on the other woman's face, and the guilt that flickered across Ethan's eyes when he noticed her standing there, made it undeniable. He had betrayed her, not just as a husband but as a man who had sworn to protect her, love her, and cherish their unborn child. The betrayal burned so deeply it felt like her ribs might crack under the weight of it. Her heart, once a sanctuary, was now a battlefield of broken promises. She stumbled back into the ballroom, her breath heavy, her vision blurred. Yet instead of creating a scene, she pressed her trembling lips into a small, controlled smile, as though nothing had happened. Amelia knew one thing with certainty: this wasn't the place to break. Not here, not in front of strangers. She carried within her the blood of resilience, the spirit of her mother, a judge who had taught her that dignity and patience were often sharper weapons than rage. The following weeks were filled with silence between her and Ethan. He tried to mask his guilt with expensive gifts, diamond necklaces, cars, even the promise of a mansion by the sea. But every gift felt like a chain, every apology like a dagger coated in honey. Amelia moved through their mansion like a ghost, her only comfort found in placing her hands on her stomach, whispering promises to the life inside her. She would be strong for her child, even if she had to crumble alone. The more she tried to forgive, the more Ethan slipped into carelessness, as though her pain was invisible. Nights out grew longer, excuses grew weaker, and the mask of the perfect billionaire husband finally began to collapse. Amelia's mother, Judge Catherine Hayes, was no ordinary woman. Stern yet tender, her wisdom carved from years of fighting for justice in courtrooms, where truth was often buried under power and money. She had always been Amelia's anchor. When she discovered what Ethan had done, she didn't scream or cry. She simply placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder and said, "No one, not even a man of wealth, is above respect. He has wronged not just you, but the very sanctity of family." Amelia wanted to believe there was still hope for forgiveness, but Catherine knew better. She had seen men like Ethan before, charmed by wealth, blinded by arrogance, thinking they were untouchable. But she also knew one thing Ethan hadn't realized yet: justice always finds its way. The breaking point came on a rainy night when Amelia, now heavily pregnant, was left waiting for Ethan to drive her to a doctor's appointment. Hours passed. He never showed. Instead, paparazzi pictures surfaced the next morning of Ethan laughing in a club, a woman clinging to his arm, while Amelia had sat alone in the hospital lobby, her hands shaking, her baby's heartbeat echoing in the silence of a cold machine. That humiliation, that disregard for her and her unborn child, was the final wound. Catherine acted swiftly. With quiet determination, she built a case, meticulously gathering evidence of Ethan's infidelity, reckless spending, tax evasions he thought were invisible, and the financial fraud buried in his company accounts. What began as betrayal soon transformed into a storm of justice. Ethan thought his billions could shield him, but he underestimated the strength of a mother's fury and a judge's mind. When the case was finally brought to court, the media exploded. Billionaire cheats on pregnant wife. Judge mother strikes back, headlined every paper. The world watched as Ethan's empire crumbled, his polished image replaced with the face of a man cornered by his own greed. Amelia sat quietly in the courtroom, her hand on her belly, while Ethan tried to charm the judge, his lawyers spinning lies like webs. But Catherine dismantled each argument with precision, every piece of evidence like a sword cutting through his empire of deceit. In the end, the gavel fell heavy. Ethan would not just lose the woman he betrayed. He would lose his freedom. He was sentenced to years in prison, his wealth seized, his company dismantled, his name forever stained. For Amelia, it wasn't victory she felt, but release. Watching him led away in handcuffs, she realized this wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming her dignity, her peace, her child's future. She knew her journey ahead as a single mother wouldn't be easy. Nights would lonely, and the weight of responsibility heavy. But she also knew she was free, from lies, from betrayal, from the chains of a man who had never truly seen her worth. When Amelia finally held her baby girl in her arms, tears streaming down her cheeks, she whispered, "You will never know a love that betrays you. Only one that protects always." And in that moment, she felt stronger than she ever had before. The wounds Ethan left would scar, but those scars would become reminders of her resilience, proof that even in the deepest pain, a woman can rise, protect her child, and rebuild her life. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with your loved ones, subscribe to Royal Stories, and comment your thoughts below. Your support helps us continue sharing powerful, emotional stories that inspire millions around the world. Special request: in the comments, write what you would have done if you were in Amelia's place. Because your voice matters in stories like these.